Well, 8 teams arrived here in Greenville, South Carolina on Tuesday and Wednesday, and their aspirations were to be playing at 1 p.m. on Saturday. We had 8 teams, 6 of them have been eliminated. We have 2 still standing, and they were the 2 teams seeded 1 and 2 in this championship. Bob Jones University in the host school here in Greenville, South Carolina, and only their 3rd year of intercollegiate volleyball, is playing for the national championship. They will take on Regina Delosier, Maranatha Baptist University, the 2 seed out of Watertown, Wisconsin. They have won 3 consecutive national championships. They have won 9 in their rich history, and they make their 5th national tournament appearance since 1994. Hi, everybody. It's Rick Cooper, one of the voices of the NCCAA. It's great to have you with us here on the NCCAA Sports Network. 15 matches in women's volleyball. We have played 14 of them. Only 1 still remains, and it is this national championship between number 2 Maranatha and number 1 Bob Jones. The SaberCats out of the North Region, a North Region winner, coming in at 24-12. They are 7-1 in North Region play, 13-1 against Division II schools. Their only blemish coming against Emmaus Bible, who they beat for a 3rd time in 4 tries in last night's 2nd semifinal. 13-1 overall against Division II schools. They have won 40 of 50 sets. That's an 80% winning percentage. Bob Jones University on the other side, another 30-win season for Vicky Denney. In her 35th year, she averages 30.5 wins per season. They come in 35-5 and 12-0 in South Region play. They have not lost a Division II match all year. They are a perfect 16-0. They have won 49 of 56 sets against teams at their level. That's an 88% winning percentage. They have won 19 in a row this season overall. They haven't lost a match since back on October the 5th in a 5-set loss to Owens Community College. And the last time they lost to a Division II school was last year in this national championship in the national semifinals against this Maranatha team when they were swept in straight sets. Plenty of firepower on both sides. Lloyd Henderson, our PA announcer, will give you the starting lineups in just a few moments. We will highlight a couple players you definitely want to keep an eye on. Rachel Williams, the All-American setter from Bob Jones University. Didn't think she was going to come back this year. Got married in the offseason and told Vicky Denney, I will not be back. Vicky Denney had already prepared for life without her, then had a change of heart. 1 week left in the spring semester, came to Coach Denney and said, I'd like to play. Team took a vote. They have brought her back, and boy, what a senior campaign for Rachel Williams. 9 assists per set, which is number 1 in America, 1st team All-American, and the South Region Player of the Year. Really stepping up in this championship, Brook Beaver, the 5'7" freshman outside hitter from Kissimmee, Florida. She had 17 kills yesterday in their big win against Geneva. 20% hitting percentage yesterday. She had 19 digs in that win as well. Also getting plenty of help from Jordan Anderson in the middle, the junior from San Antonio, Florida. Vicky Denney called her a big surprise here in 2018. That surprise yesterday had 8 kills and a team-high 7 blocks. So some of the faces that will be difference makers on the Bob Jones side, and obviously on the sideline, a difference maker as well. Talking about 62-year-old Vicky Denney in this her 35th season, 1,070 wins, only 375 losses, a 74% winning percentage, and maybe just as impressive as that big number is the fact that she has stepped into Bob Jones, started an intercollegiate volleyball program, and is 87-33 in this her 3rd year, 73% winning percentage. Folks, it's hard to start a volleyball program. We've touched on it during these broadcasts. There are teams that would love to have a 73% winning season, and they've been doing it for 30 or 40 years. Bob Jones, Vicky Denney, been able to step in and have success right out of the gate. They will take on Maranatha, the number 2 seed. Maranatha won the national championship last year as a 3 seed. They were the number 1 seed 3 consecutive years from 2014 to 2016, and really missing some pieces this year. Gone is Lexi Butel, their middle hitter that was a 2-time 1st-team All-American, 2 years removed from losing Allie Renz, who was a 2-time National Player of the Year. Just a few players in the history of the NCCAA have ever been given that award. themselves, not sharing it with anybody else. Allie Wren's one of those select few, and they have still continued to win despite losing some pretty important pieces, and really the players that make it happen. Carly and Kelsey Johnson, they're setters. Kelsey Johnson, only in her second year setting ever, had to learned under Julia Gunst, their setter from a couple seasons ago, and the two twin sisters have been absolutely sensational. Yesterday, they accounted for 16 kills between the two, 3 blocks and 42 digs. And on the outside, a pretty good first-team All-American, talking about Claire Hansel. She was good a year ago. Regina Delosier said she has taken some ginormous steps forward in this, her sophomore campaign. 13 kills, 15 digs, 2 blocks yesterday. She comes in averaging 3 kills per set and a 21% attack percentage. So those are some of the big faces, the celebrities on these teams, the PT peers. I imagine there's going to be some unsung heroes, some of the other faces that are in uniform tonight that are going to be difference makers as well. These two head coaches have been around at the NCCA Division II level for quite some time now. Regina Delosier in her 12th season, Vicky Denney, year 35. They have met 6 times previously heading into this championship today. Vicky Denney now 4-2 against Regina Delosier. The most recent meeting, as we said, was a year ago when number 3 Maranatha beat number 4 Bob Jones 3-0 in the national semifinals, 25-18, 25-19, and 25-17. Maranatha beat Bob Jones in 2016 in pool play in straight sets as well. The last meeting that Vicky Denney was victorious in back in 2013 at the national tournament at Lincoln, when number 2 Clearwater beat number 6 Maranatha in 4 sets in pool play, and Clearwater went on to win the national championship. It was the final of 7 consecutive national championships for Vicky Denney at Clearwater. The last time these two head coaches met in a national championship was back in 2012 when number 1 Clearwater Christian won the national title in 4 sets over number 2 Maranatha, 25-19, 20-25, 25-20, and 25-21. Maranatha actually had a 10-4 lead in that 3rd set and came up just a little bit short. So a rich history, obviously a little bit even more interesting. Vicky Denney, of her 14 national championships, one of them, her very first, was at Maranatha back in 1987. So 2 coaches that know each other well, 2 programs that know each other well. It should be a fun afternoon of volleyball, and we're excited to have it for you here on the NCCAA Sports Network. Again, we started at noon on Thursday. Boy, tremendous volleyball over the last 2 days. Used to be a top-tier couple teams and everybody else, and it is getting to be a lot more balanced, a lot more talent, and it has been fun. And this one going to be real special in front of the home crowd here at Bob Jones University. Delighted you've decided to join us. Right now we turn it over to public address announcer Lloyd Henderson for the national anthem, the starting lineups, and the opening prayer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Davis Fieldhouse for the NCCAA D2 National Championship! Today's match features the number 2 seeded Maranatha Baptist University SaberCats and the number 1 seeded Bob Jones University Bruins. At this time, we would ask everyone that can stand, please stand, remove your caps, join us in a word of prayer, followed by the playing of our national anthem. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for a beautiful day. Thank you for the amazing God that you are, the way that you work in our lives. Thank you for the Holy Spirit and His ministry to us and through us. Thank you, Lord, for bringing these ladies to this point in their year, their season. Thank you for the way that all of the coaches and staff have invested in them. I pray, Lord, that you give these 2 teams the best game of the year. Pray that you give us safety as they play. Help us all to respond in a manner that reflects our relationship with your Son, Jesus Christ. And it's in His name we pray. Amen. Now the starting lineup for Maranatha Sabercats, wearing number 4, Claire Hansel. Number 9, Carly Johnson. Wearing 10, Kelsey Johnson. Number 12, Allison Brimer. Number 17, Ariel Carpenter. Number 22, Jessica Urecki. And the libero number 7, Mackenzie Jenkins. Now the starting lineups for the BJU Bruins, wearing number 2, Rachel Williams. Number 5, Brook Beaver. Number 9, Catherine Ring. Number 13, Jordan Anderson. Wearing 16, Laura Gaston. Number 18, Courtney Bates. And the libero number 8, Selena Walker.
As public address announcer Lloyd Henderson with our starting lineups means we're just about set to get underway. Regina Delozier assisted today by Pam Borkhardt-Fiocchi, a setter and a 6'2 offense for the Sabercats a couple years ago. Also her daughter Tori Delozier-Rosine on her staff. Vicky Denney assisted today, of course, by husband Lou Denney in his 21st season, and Mark Corbin in his first year. He's a physical ed teacher in the area that's been coaching high school the last couple years. Krista Schlichting is a first-year player that Vicky Denney, a first-year coach that Vicky Denney tried to actually recruit at Clearwater Christian, and she will assist today as well. So just about set to get things underway. It'll be Diane Penner on the ladder as your R1, 35 years. David Morton is our R2, 25 years. As we said, 6 teams are done. Number 8, Randall, number 7, Arlington, number 6, Toccoa, and number 5, Johnson all finish in a tie for 5th. Number 3, Geneva, their first NCCA Division II appearance, and number 4, Emmaus in their second appearance. Finishing a tie for 3rd as both came up just a little bit short in last night's national semifinals. Maranatha took care of Emmaus in 4 sets, and Bob Jones went 5 before winning 15-13 over number 3, Geneva. And the first play of this first set is going to be a double hit against the Bruins and a point for Maranatha. Jessica Urecki, younger sister on this team as well, Erica Urecki, a junior and a freshman respectively out of New Hope, Minnesota. Laura Gaston right down the line, she put it in, and we're tied at 1 set apiece. Some statistics that may interest you, nearly identical in attack percentage, 18% for Maranatha, 19% for Bob Jones. Bob Jones averages 1 kill more per set, 11.5 versus 10.5. Maybe a big stat for Bob Jones. They are holding their opponents this season to an 8% attack percentage, which is 2nd in America, and the Bruins strike again. 2.6 aces a set for Bob Jones, 2 aces a set for Maranatha. Some of the numbers as we compare number 1 and number 2. That was an overpass that Maranatha may live to talk about. Worth noting here, Mackenzie Jenke, the Maranatha libero in that back row with a right hand that is heavily taped heading into this championship. It has not been taped at any other point in this tournament. Down the line and a touch up front by Williams. And so a point for the Sabercats, and it's now 3-2.
Carpenter back to serve.
Gabby Carpenter to serve here. Family here watching her play. Older sister, younger sister here as well. Carpenter, a dig here. Kelsey Johnson feeding Carly Johnson, and she drops it in. We touched on it. Kelsey Johnson, only in her 2nd year ever setting. Was not a setter in high school. Has had to learn. Regina Delozier said lots of double hits a year ago, lots of mistakes, but a sponge that continued to learn and get better, and a dig in that back row unsuccessful by Urecki. And it's now 4-3 Bob Jones. The Bruins the 1 seed in the royal blue on the right side of your screen. Maranatha the 2 seed in the dark blue to your left, and that's an ace there. Jenke thought it was too deep, decided to let it go, and Wasn't even close to that back line, probably 3 feet in. 5'3", Bob Jones by 2. Ready again is Jordan Anderson, who had a huge block and a huge attack at a pivotal point in their win yesterday over Geneva. And Jenke a day late and $1 short on that dig attempt. It's now 6-3 Bruins. They have doubled up Maranatha here in this opening set. Jordan Anderson, as we said, 8 kills. Team high 7 blocks yesterday, and it's another ace. Boy, they're picking on Mackenzie Jenke right now. 3rd ace already. Anderson on the year. 29 aces for Bob Jones. Some miscommunication there to her knees, to her rear end was Jurecki as she collided with one of the Johnson girls. Dig here by Jenke, down the line feeding Hansel. Tried to finesse it, scooped up there by Bates. It'll be a free ball by the first-team All-American, Brook Beaver. Right side, it's Carly Johnson. Scooped up back row on a stuff attempt by Bob Jones, and it drops in. Rachel Williams, good effort, fell to the ground. Catherine Ring wanted to assist, but Williams was between her and the Baden volleyball, 7-4. Williams into Ring, net at the net, it's an assisted block. Have not seen that very much. Catherine Ring has been highly successful in the middle. This time she met Breimer and Hansel. An assisted block makes it 7-5. Williams hustling near the Bob Jones bench. Gaston a little bit too strong on that line shot from that front right position. 7-6. Early in this opening set, best of 5. First forward to 25. If we go to a 5th set, it would be to 15. And Bates met at the net. Walker tried to keep it alive. And they're going to call a lift on Selena Walker, who doesn't like the call, and we're tied at 7. Both of these teams did not have a lot of experience or success playing in 5-set matches this year. They have had a heavy dose of 5-set matches in this championship. Maranatha with 2 of them. Sabercats came in as 1-5 in 5-set matches into this championship, but they have won both that they have been a part of in this national tournament. 8-7. Maranatha by 1. Cut shot dug up by Carly Johnson. To the middle, and Jurecki tried to finesse it in. An attempted dig by Williams, but it drops in, and Maranatha their biggest lead. It's 9-7. Bob Jones a 4-0 run. Maranatha has responded with a 5-0 run. 9-7. Number 2 leads number 1 here early. Ring into the middle, and too strong. Just missed. Jenke made the right choice there. It's 10-7, and Vicky Denney wants to talk about it. Timeout on the floor, opening set. Number 2 leads number 1, 10-7. It's the 2018 National Championship here on the NCCAA Sports Network. Women's National Championship action brought to you by Aramark with expertise in food, uniforms, and facilities. Aramark lets you focus on what you do best. Aramark, we dream, and we do. I want to thank all of our national tournament sponsors: Servant HR, Spinks, Aramark, Bon Secours, Integra Bank, and Pepsi. Beautiful day here in Greenville, South Carolina, and we deserved it after a couple lousy days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's coming in right around noon, already 60 degrees, sunny. Just a beautiful fall day here in Greenville, South Carolina. The run continues for Maranatha. It was 7-3 at one point. Bob Jones, they have run off 7 in a row and now lead 10-7. Left side, Hansel on a cut shot, and she put it in. Put it right between Bates in that front row and Selena Walker in the back row. 8-0 run, 11-7, Sabercats. Received on that back row by Bob Jones. Into the middle, and an attack for Catherine Ring. Touched up front by Sabercats. Muckenschnabel in, Gaston will sit down. It's a substitution pattern we've seen throughout the championship. Muckenschnabel will play back row and serve in that substitution pattern for Gaston, a front right player. Overpass here. Let's see if the SaberCats make him pay. Left side, Hansel, they do. 12-8 Maranatha.
Hansel with the kill, serving up the serve.
Ready here is Claire Hansel. Only a sophomore, already a first-team All-American. Sliding his ring. Digging is Jenke. Hitting is Hansel. And scooped up there by Bates. Little give and go as they feed Bates again. And Jenke with another dig. Right side attack by Kelsey Johnson. And it's a block right back onto the Maranatha side of the net. SaberCats could have played it. Some miscommunication as to who was going to do it. 12-9 Maranatha by 3. Courtney Bates, 5'10 sophomore, Prairie Farm, Wisconsin. 7 kills and a block yesterday in that 5-set win over Geneva College out of Beaver Falls. Rachel Williams down the line to Beaver, who dropped it in. Brook Beaver moves into the front row and immediately makes her presence known. 12-10, Bruins within 2. Ready is Bates. Hansel on serve receive into the middle, Kelsey Johnson. Beaver went to a left-handed dink, and it's going to be just as effective as the power that she showed just a moment ago. 12-11. Bruins with a chance to tie it here. Bates in her first year as a volleyball player did enroll at Bob Jones at the end of last year for the spring semester. That attack too strong, and it's now tied at 12. So it has been a first set of runs. And Bob Jones with a chance to continue this run and take the lead here. Hansel and Urecki receive it. And Urecki, a free ball over the net. Scooped up down the line there by Muckenschnabel. Catherine Ring into the middle. A touch up there by Kelsey Johnson. Into the middle, and Breimer scooped up by Selena Walker. That one nearly dropped in. Saved by Urecki. Down the line, Kelsey Johnson. Some emergency contact, and they couldn't get there. Outstanding effort by Muckenschnabel, who did everything she could to keep it alive. 13-12. SaberCats have retaken the lead. And the serve here from the libero, Mackenzie Jenke, in her first year. Too strong is Catherine Ring. Jenke took over for Katie Bender, who was a libero at Maranatha for 2 years, made the all-tournament team last year when she was absolutely sensational. Little center dump by Williams. Caught the SaberCats off guard, and it's now 14-13. Williams near the scorer's table, kept it alive. Handled by Carly Johnson. An attack attempt there by Kelsey. Here's Beaver, a little dink, and this time it's out of play. Boy, good decision. Terrific finesse by Brook Beaver, but just could not keep it in play. It's 15-13, Maranatha by 2. Serve receive, it's Beaver. Setting up a slide attack on a back set by Anderson. Controlled by Maranatha, and a free ball over the net by Beaver. Tight to the net, Kelsey Johnson in a hurry to get there. Carpenter with one of those dinks that she has played oh so well in this championship. Right side, it's Carly Johnson who strikes again.
Kelsey Johnson serving.
Yeah, talking about Katie Bender, that Maranatha libero from last year. She had 29 digs in that national championship win last year. So she is a good one. Was the basketball point guard as well for Clayton Morrison. So missed on a couple different fronts at Maranatha for sure. 16-14, right side Urecki, dug up back row by the All-American setter Williams. Here's Beaver and Jenke with a nice dig. Free ball over the net by Breimer. Blue Crew behind the bench, not happy with something. Thought it was a double hit that was not called. Vicky Denney standing, watching this play out. Kelsey Johnson, right side Carly, and it's an attack. Selena Walker got a hand on it, but couldn't do anything with it. Maranatha won their third national championship in this building last year when they swept Bruce Dixon and Kentucky Christian. Would end up being Bruce Dixon's final match as a volleyball head coach. He has since retired. Assistant coach Jeffrey Huff has taken over the volleyball program. And you're wondering where Kentucky is. They moved their women's sports up to the NCCA Division I. Their men's soccer is here and will play for the national championship tonight. Their men's basketball is around as well. So hoping to come back in the month of March. Women's basketball will move up, of course led by the Hall of Fame head coach Ron Arnett for so many years. 15 national championships in that program, and a near kill and a beautiful dig by Maranatha. Into the middle, Anderson literally punched back to Jenke. Down the line, it's Hansel. Touch up front and a dig by Walker. Playing it off the net was Williams. Beautifully done. Left side, Hansel! It was met at the net by Jordan Anderson and Laura Gaston. It's an assisted block, and it's now 18-15. Brook Beaver at the service line. Down the line, it's Hansel, touched up front. Williams with a dig. Pushed over by the libero. And Bob Jones stays with it. Into the middle, Carpenter finishes the job, 19-15. It has been a back and forth affair. Anderson ready again. Boy, Urecki looked frozen on that one. Wanted to get there, but had no chance. 19-16, Bruins within 3. Kelsey Johnson setting up Hansel, and it's an assisted block again. As Catherine Ring and Laura Gaston met her at the net. Ring had 6 blocks in a match earlier in this championship. Only a sophomore at 18 years old. And they feed her with an overpass that she's unable to finish. Good effort there by Williams to get to that one. Gaston, some emergency contact there by Urecki, and it's out of bounds. The Bruins are within 1. Not a lot of substitutions on either of these teams. The liberos come in for both middles, and the only other substitution for either program is Lauren Muckensnabel for Laura Gaston, the right side player. Gaston has 3 kills and 2 blocks here early for the Bruins. And a kill down the line by Kelsey Johnson. Make it Carly. It's now 20-18.
Carly Johnson back to serve.
Ready is Carly. Centered up by Rachel Williams. Handled by Maranatha. Into the middle. That one may have gone out of bounds. Bob Jones elected to play it, and it's going to cost him a point. I think it was Beaver that was right near that back line that elected to try to dig it up. And maybe, hindsight being 20/20, the better play would have been to let it go out of bounds. Timeout on the floor, 21-18. Bob Jones has called it, so Vicky Denney out of timeouts in this, the opening set. It's a 2018 NCCAA Division II National Championship volleyball match. I want to say thanks again to our partners, Servant HR, Spinks, Aramark, Bon Secours, Integra Bank, and Pepsi For over 50 years, the NCCAA has been promoting outreach and ministry through athletic competition with a Christian perspective. You can find out more by visiting the NCCAA.org. Both of these coaches doing a lot of teaching in the timeout. You see 62-year-old Vicky Denney. She's still got the energy of a 30-year-old. Just keeps going. And I was talking to Lou Denny last night. There's no signs of slowing down. They're talking about recruits 2 years from now that they're working on already. And a Hall of Fame head coach, as good as they get. And it's not just about wins and losses with either of these head coaches. They're quality people that have have learned to teach young ladies to love the game of volleyball, but always love Jesus more. And that's what the NCCAA is about. That's what Bob Jones University Athletics is about. That's what Maranatha Baptist University Athletics are all about. And that's why, as an unbiased, just play-by-play guy, it is so easy to root for these two head coaches and root for these two programs. 21-18. Bates out of the timeout with a swing that's scooped up by Hansel. Now left side, it's Bates, a little bit off balance, but it didn't matter. Got a touch by Hansel, and it's now 21-19. Gaston and Beaver had 3 kills apiece for Bob Jones. Kelsey Johnson leading the way with 5 attacks for the 2-seed Maranatha. Muckenschnabel, the serve here, a sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois. Left side, navigating around the antenna was Kelsey Johnson. They show Ring in the middle. They feed Bates instead. Battle near the net. And it drops on the Maranatha side, so the Bruins now within 1, 21-20. Muckenschnabel stays at that service line where she had 33 aces. 4th best on this Bruins team in the regular season. Kelsey Johnson to Carly to Kelsey, and it was stuffed up there again. It was a duo of Ring and Williams. Boy, nearly every team that got to the Final Four, they have big setters that can beat you in a multitude of ways. We get a look at Rachel Williams making her presence known on the front line right there. Tied at 21. Back row attack by Beaver, not much on it. Urecki scoops it up. Into the middle? No, they go outside after they show middle. Big dig there by Urecki on a pretty good swing by Williams. Stuffed again by Catherine Ring. Catherine Ring loves the kills, but what she loves more than anything else, according to Vicky Denney, is to do that right there. Dikembe Mutombo style, to get into the middle, mano a mano, and shut you down. Solo block by Catherine Ring. Timeout by Regina Delosier. SaberCats in some trouble here late in set number 1. Coming out of the timeout, Bob Jones now in the midst of a 4-0 run. I know there's highs and lows, a roller coaster ride with volleyball, but Kent Delosier, this has been an entire set full of runs. Every time you think somebody's going to pull away, the other team has an answer, and I guess that's what you would expect from a number 1 and number 2 team. Boy, it's been a good weekend of volleyball. You're probably going to hear me say that 4 or 5 times over the next hour and a half. Really impressed with the tournament field as a whole. Didn't translate to a lot of wins for those teams in that 5, 6, 7 spot, but it is obvious that the folks in Toccoa Falls, Johnson University, Tennessee, even throwing Emmaus in there, this is their 2nd national tournament appearance. They are taking giant step forward, and even though it's 1 and 2 in this championship that are looking eye to eye with each other, they better be looking over their shoulder a little bit as well, because there are some teams that are going to do everything they can to make sure they're in this spot next year. Battle near the nets, and much needed. Maranatha now 23-22. It was Breimer up there. Allison Breimer, the junior from Roanoke, Virginia. Claire Hansel, first team All-American, received by Walker. Williams, Ring, punched it, and it's too strong. 24-22 SaberCats. A point away. Maranatha fan base to their feet. Maranatha bench to their feet. Received by Beaver. Williams. They sell ring in the middle. They go flat-footed attack by Selena Walker. Punched over by Kelsey Johnson. Outside it's Bates who keeps them alive. 24-23. That was a big hole right in the middle of the Maranatha defense. Bates had 46 aces in the regular season. So she can beat you from the service line as well. Little give and go to Kelsey Johnson. Blocked back onto the Maranatha side. Flat-footed was Breimer. Left side, it's Beaver. Tried to find that front left position. Hustling was Jurecki. Maranatha could win the first set here. It'll be a flat-footed attack by Kelsey Johnson, and it never got there. We're tied at 24, and we're playing to 26. Serve stays here with Courtney Bates. And too strong, it's a service error. Good decision by Jenke, who nearly had her toes on that back line. Made the decision to either play it or let it go just a little bit easier. 25-24. Jenke and Maranatha could win it here. Beaver to try to play a little extra, and she does. Ties it at 25. We're going to at least 27. Beaver with 4 kills. The freshman from near Orlando. Selena Walker, lone player from the state of Pennsylvania, on Vicky Denney's 2018 roster. And an attack up there by Kelsey Johnson makes it 26-25. So Maranatha, third opportunity or fourth, I think maybe the fourth, to win this first set. Williams tight to the net. Gonna have to hurry near Vicky Denney and the Bob Jones bench. Muck and Schnabel over the net. Set to Carpenter was off the mark. Bruins with an opportunity here. Beaver, a dig by Jenke. Into the middle, Carpenter to try to win it. And what? They're gonna say the Bruins, no, Maranatha in the net. And it's now 26-26. And I'm with Mark Corbin, the Bob Jones assistant on that one. I think it was clearly a lift on Gabby Carpenter that she got away with. Could see Corbin immediately pop up and gesture for that call, and probably justice that side out with Bob Jones, because Maranatha got away with one there. Tied at 26. Down the line, feeding Carly Johnson. Handled by the Bruins. Attack upcoming by Gaston. Jenke the dig. Carpenter the attack. And it's wide left, and it's now 27-26. This is the first opportunity for the Bruins to win the opening set. Regina Delozier going to call her final timeout. Timeout, Maranatha. Both coaches out of timeouts, and serve upcoming here for the Bruins with a chance to win this opening set. We expected a battle. And even though these programs don't have a history going head-to-head, you got to believe Regina Delozier knows everything that Vicky Denney is going to throw at her, and Vicky Denney is not going to be surprised by anything Regina Delozier does. These coaches, they know what each other's eating for lunch. They know the team meal. They know everything. And so sometimes it just comes out to who's going to do it. Maranatha flying home tonight, departing out of Greenville. They one of the few teams that went into Greenville and then stop in Milwaukee. Gonna get out of here at 6:40 tonight is their departure. They'll go through Milwaukee, Atlanta, land in Milwaukee tonight, late, and then make the trip from Milwaukee to Watertown. About an hour from Milwaukee to Watertown, Wisconsin. So here we go, chance to win it for the Bruins. Carly Johnson to try to keep it alive. Stuff back onto the Maranatha side. They'll feed Carpenter. A dig in the back row by Bates. Beaver could win it here. Huge dig there by Kelsey Johnson to keep it alive. Down the line, Beaver, too strong. We're tied at 27. Boy, Kelsey Johnson with a dig there that could be national championship saving. Tied at 27. Into the middle, Anderson, and she dropped it in. So the advantage to the Bruins again. Maranatha had 4 opportunities to finish the job. They couldn't do it. Second chance for the Bruins here. 28-27. Received by Hansel. Urecki, a little bit out of system. Nearly stuffed by Anderson. Hansel, received by Walker. Bates with a chance to win it. Dug up by Urecki. Hustling to get to it was Kelsey Johnson, and a free ball by Carly. This would win it here. Anderson does it again! She finished one yesterday with a kill and had a huge block. And the junior from San Antonio, Florida, has ice in her veins on Saturday as well. Bob Jones in overtime. 29-27 in set number 1. We'll have set number 2 coming up for you next here on the NCCAA Sports Network.
The NCCAA mission states, "We serve members by setting association standards, developing communications resources, providing regional and national competition, and partnering in outreach to our communities and the world. Bylaws, eligibility, statistics, and championships are all part of being an athletic association. Our services help propel intercollegiate athletics on and off campus. We intentionally place our student athletes and coaches in Christian service projects during championship events to answer the question, what would Christ do in these communities?" The NCCAA mission states, "We are committed to equipping student athletes and coaches to make a positive impact for Christ. Equipping student athletes and coaches involves the creation and distribution of tools and resources needed for a particular purpose. We promote outreach and ministry for the enhancement of athletic competition with a Christian perspective. One tool is Game Plan for Life, a character initiative to promote the biblical characteristics of love, integrity, faith, and excellence. Equipping student athletes with a game plan will remain with them throughout their entire lives."
Well, if sets 2 through 5 are half as good as that one, we're in for a treat. Bob Jones, the number 1 seed, 29-27. In set number 1, we were talking off the air. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 opportunities that Maranatha had to win that opening set. We're going to stand by the number 4. Had 4 chances to finish off Bob Jones, could not do it. The Bruins had their second opportunity in a little bit of extra volleyball, and they take advantage, and they do it out of the hand of Jordan Anderson. We touched on it in our short pregame. You've got all the celebrities, if you will, the stars of this game. Talking about Claire Hansel and the Johnsons, you've got Brook Beaver and Williams. And sometimes it's some of those other players that end up making a difference and making the huge play. And one of the ones that did it there was Jordan Anderson. And as we touched on, she did it yesterday with a huge kill and a huge block in that win against Geneva. Just underway here in the second set, and the first kill of the second set goes to Carly Johnson. It's 1-0 Maranatha. Two teams nearly identical in hitting percentage in that first set. Maranatha 14%, Bob Jones 13%. Kelsey Johnson had 5 attacks to lead the SaberCats. Carly Johnson and Claire Hansel had 4 apiece. Brook Beaver and Jordan Anderson both had 4 kills. Beaver only hit at a 6% attack percentage. Anderson hitting at a 57% attack percentage in that first half. Had 7 attempts, had no hitting errors, and had 4 kills. She has played very, very well. And again, only a junior. Maranatha with no seniors on their roster, and Rachel Williams, the only senior for the Bruins. So everybody you're watching on the floor right now, minus number 2 in blue, the All-American Rachel Williams, will have the opportunity to return in 2019. This is sophomore Claire Hansel, who was a first-team All-American, and it's the first hitting error of the match for Jordan Anderson. As we said, no hitting errors in that opening set. So it's now 3-2 SaberCats. Gabby Carpenter will head to the service line for the SaberCats. Back set here into the middle. Carly Johnson to Kelsey Johnson, and she dropped it in. They have an older sister too, Lexi Johnson Butel, was a 2-time All-American, graduated after last season, was the middle hitter on their national championship team, and all 3 of them had a chance to be coached by their mom at a public high school up in the state of Michigan. Mom was a 4-year national champion at Maranatha and the 1992 National Tournament MVP. Each girl had their role. Carly the setter, Kelsey was the outside hitter, and Lexi the middle hitter for their mom at that public high school up in Stevenson, Michigan. Service error makes it 5-3. Maranatha by 2. And the side out to the Bruins and Jordan Anderson. Down the line, placed perfectly. Didn't have a ton of power, but there was not much resistance down that line, and Vicky Denney really giving Courtney Bates an earful right now. Maybe that's where she was supposed to be. 6-3 early in the second set. Bob Jones 29-27 in a little bit of extra volleyball in set number 1. Mackenzie Jenke the dig for the SaberCats down to Hansel, and they're going to call a double hit on the Maranatha center.
And for the Bruins, Lauren Buckenschnabel.
6-4. Right side, it's Hansel with an attack that's too strong, and it's now 6-5. Maranatha upset. It's about the most demonstrative that you will see. Tori Delozier-Rosine and Regina Delozier. Pam Borkart maybe a little fiery than the other 2, but all 3 of them thought there was a touch there on that kill that went out of bounds and did not get the call. It's now 6-5. Flat-footed from the back row, it was Hansel. Ring into the middle, and it never got there. And it's now 7-5. Well, it's a college football Saturday. My Buckeyes playing right now against Maryland, but maybe the shocker right now had a halftime score from a few moments ago. Alabama and the Citadel tied at 10 apiece. Are you kidding me? Now 17-10. Alabama has taken the lead, but Buckeyes trailing at halftime too. Not a good day for some of the giants in college football early. And that one, an attack error by Allison Breimer. 7-6 SaberCats. Number 2 leads number 1. Playing a best of 5 here at the 2018 National Championship. Rick Cooper, David Lurdy, Jeff Carr, Faith Hunter, and our entire NCCAA Sports Network broadcast team. Into the middle, they feed Kelsey Johnson. Deflected by Williams, now pushed over the net by Urecki. Muckenschnabel went to a left foot to try to keep it alive, which you can do, and unable to do it. Now 8-6. The libero Jenke will serve here for Maranatha. Received back row by the Bob Jones libero, Selena Walker. And that attack by Brook Beaver. Power and accuracy. She is by far, without question, the most powerful hitter on this Bruins squad. And only going to get better in this her freshman campaign. Walker to Kelsey Johnson. Now to Jenke, tight to the net. Carpenter, a free ball over the net. Can the Bruins take advantage? Left side, Beaver this time. She's got the full arsenal. I'm probably a bad analyst, but I compare it to baseball. You just saw the Roger Clemens 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and now she hits you with an 82-mile-an-hour curveball and freezes you. 8-8. Right side, it's Johnson, and she went through the block of Brook Beaver and Jordan Anderson. SaberCats stop the bleeding momentarily, retake the lead, it's 9-8. Kelsey Johnson, first-team All-American, a triple-double machine, according to Regina Delosier. 9 of them, triple-double in kills, assists, and digs, which was third in all of NCAA Division III. Urecki an attack, the touch, and it drops in. Maranatha, an NCAA Division III, NCCAA Division II dual affiliate. They have been an independent in the NCAA 3 the last 6 years. Previously been in a conference, wasn't a good fit, and they continue to look for a possible fit, but kind of found their niche right now as an NCAA Division III independent. 51st year as an institution, founded in 1968 by Dr. and Mrs. Cedarholt. 11-8 as Anderson strikes in that front right position. And the Bruins within 2. 10 sports at Maranatha, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, men's and women's cross country, men's baseball, women's softball, and men's and women's volleyball. Started that men's volleyball program just a couple years ago. Regina Delosier would typically finish up here and go right into that season. She has since passed over the head coaching responsibilities to her daughter, Tori Delosier Rosine. She still helps daughter Tori, but the CEO of that operation, his daughter Tori, the 2-time NCCAA National Player of the Year. 12-10 here, SaberCats by 2. And with the serve, it's Urecki. Falling backwards, Gaston still able to get something on it. Carpenter to the middle, and Jordan Anderson, another solo block. 12-11. Serve here for Brook Beaver. 3.2 kills coming into this championship, 9th nationally. Best on the Bob Jones team. Into the middle, a swing there by Carly Johnson. Touch up front, and an attack up there by Courtney Bates. Into the middle, Carpenter! You don't see the power very often, but you get a glimpse there, and it's now 13-11 Maranatha, trying to tie this best of 5 at 1 set apiece. Nearly an ace by Carpenter. Bates got it at the last possible moment on a shoestring reception. Pushed over and blocked back onto the Maranatha side. Going to give Bates and Anderson an assist block there, as they were waiting in that front left position. 13-12. Anderson the serve here. Urecki on the receive. Hansel pushed it over the net. And again, Mark Corbin, I can see him in my peripheral vision asking for that lift, that carry. And it drops in anyway. We're tied at 13. "29 aces in the year for Anderson, 5th best on the Bob Jones team. The surprise of 2018. If you've watched our coverage, you know that story already. They wanted Laura Gaston to be able to stay on that right side, but they didn't have anybody with confidence that they could plug in the middle in lieu of Gaston until Jordan Anderson really emerged. So she and Catherine Ring have done a great job in the middle. It's allowed Laura Gaston to do what Laura Gaston does best and play on that right side. 14-13. SaberCats the lead in the serve. Williams, right side, Gaston, a cross-court attack, and that one well out of play. And it's now tied at 14.
Nccaa serving.
14 apiece, second set. Bob Jones 29-27 in set number 1. Muckenschnabel, the substitution for Gaston, in that back row and placed perfectly. 15-14 SaberCats. Ring, Williams, and Bates up front for Bob Jones. Reception here by Selena Walker. Sliding was Ring. Did a good job to get it over and still stay out of the net. Big dig there by Brook Beaver. Down the line, it's Bates, who scores another and ties the second set at 15 apiece. And the Bruins the lead, 16-15. It's an ace for Brook Beaver. Make that Courtney Bates. I beg your pardon. Bates ready again. Received there by Urecki. Coming up from the back row was Hansel. Down the line, feeding Beaver. And wide right with no touch. We're tied at 16. Seesaw affair. Second set. Set means a lot to both of these teams, but obviously means a whole lot more to Maranatha. Does not want the dubious task of trying to knock out the home team, the number 1 seed, 3 in a row. Can be done, but would much rather play a best of 3 after winning set number 2 here. Pushed over, or an attempt by Kelsey Johnson. Urecki gonna swing on that left side, and what? 4 hits. Thought it was an assisted block, but it never got there. 17-16 Bruins. Ring will sit down. Anderson back up front. Anderson, Beaver, and Williams. Urecki, Kelsey Johnson, and Carly Johnson. That Carpenter in the middle. And they handle her little dink there. Right side, Kelsey Johnson stuffed up front. Kelsey another swing. Setter dump by Williams. Jenke tried to save it but could not do it. And it's now 18-16. The Bruins by 2. Timeout Regina Galosier. She understands the significance of this. Doesn't want to have to win 3 in a row and wants to stop the momentum right now as she calls a timeout late in set number 2. 2018 National Championship Volleyball coverage from here at Bob Jones University, brought to you exclusively by our good friends at Aramark with expertise in food, uniforms, and facilities. Aramark lets you focus on what you do best. Aramark, we dream, and we do. Well, I want to say thanks to the guys that we've had the privilege to work with this week. Guys and gal. Faith Hunter has been our faithful camera lady almost the entire championship, the entire semifinals yesterday. She wasn't working here. She was working at one of her other work-study jobs on campus, but David Lurdy, who works in this department at Bob Jones, Jeff Carr, one of our on-site producers. I see Jeff up there. He's got his little skybox up there. Really got a little spread up there, the food that he didn't invite us to have up in that little personal catering. Dan Boone, the executive producer. Fellas, I've been doing this for 27 years. This is my 38th national championship, and I've never worked with a crew quite like you guys. The excellence here is, this place oozes excellence, and it has been fun to be a part of. Can't wait to do it again in the month of March. 18-16, Selena Walker, received by Urecki. Now punched over by Urecki, handled by Brook Beaver, the freshman. The little give and go with Beaver. Urecki to her knees to keep it alive for Maranatha. Again, another dig by Walker, who was big with the digs yesterday. Big swing there, and it's too strong. Good call by the linesman, missed by about 6 inches in that back right corner. Selena Walker had 34 digs in that win yesterday over Geneva in 5 sets. Well, that Geneva program was solid as well. As I call this national championship, part of me is still absolutely stunned that Wendy Smith and that Geneva squad is not in this match. And I'm not saying it instead of Bob Jones, Maranatha, because they lost to both of them. Just really surprised as they trek back to Beaver Falls today. Attack up front by Urecki, 20-16, biggest lead for Bob Jones in this national championship. And it's now 21-16. Things beginning to unravel. Regina Delozier still with 1 timeout left in the second set. And I would bet my last dollar that if Bob Jones scores here, she's going to take it. Trying to give her team an opportunity to play through it. This is going to be a free ball by Urecki. Received back row by Muckenschnabel. Beaver with a chance to add more, and she does. 22-16. Still no movement from Regina Delozier. Well, it was a seesaw affair up until about 5 minutes ago, and it has been all Bob Jones. It's an overpass by Urecki, and Beaver mishit the overpass. Bob Jones fortunate to get it over the net. We'll have another opportunity here. Little forearm attack attempt there. In the middle, it's Carpenter. Walker with a dig. They'll feed Beaver with power, and the block attempt is out of bounds. And it's now 23-16, 4 kills for her. And now Regina Delozier gonna take that timeout, but the damage has been done. Down 23-16. Going to take a miracle at this point to tie this at 1 apiece, and in all likelihood, the team that has won the last 3 national championships are going to have to win 3 consecutive sets against the number 1 overall seed on their home floor with the most successful volleyball coach in the history of the NCCAA. It's been a dramatic week. Maybe we're just setting ourselves up for what's going to be a dramatic finish, but the Bruins 2 points away from slamming the door here in set number 2. Brook Beaver 4 kills in set number 2 and has really been solid. Claire Hansel 2 kills here in set number 2. Kelsey Johnson 2. Carly Johnson leading the way for Maranatha with 3. So 23-16. Maranatha out of timeouts in this second set. And the serve here out of the hands of Selena Walker, junior from Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. 4.2 digs a set last year. Has elevated that statistic to 6.7 here in 2018. Dig in that back row by Bates. Good effort there and punched over by Walker. Jenke with a dig near that backside, the back baseline. An attack and a kill. It's now 23-17. Well, Maranatha watched somebody yesterday, Renee Rechtenwald from Geneva, personally go on a 16-0 run against him. They need a 7-0 run here to play a little bit of extra volleyball. They've already got one. Williams down the line. Brook Beaver strikes again. Well, they had room for one more. Now they need a 7-0 run. Rachel Williams, 28 aces coming in, says let's finish it right here. First team All-American, married in the off-season to her high school sweetheart in December. Wasn't even sure she was going to come back. She made the right choice here, and that's going to finish it there. It's an ace for the first team All-American and the South Region Player of the Year. We went about halfway through that opening set on a back-and-forth affair. And boy, that was dominant the rest of the way. The Bruins up 2-0. They're going to try to win their first volleyball championship in straight sets. We'll have set number 3 coming up next here on the NCCAA Sports Network.
The NCCAA mission states, we are an association of Christ-centered collegiate institutions whose mission is to use athletic competition as an integral component of education, evangelism, and encouragement. The impact of the NCCAA has been felt for 50 years throughout the country and around the world. Encouraging mission trips is at the heart of this impact. We know short-term missions impacts everyone involved and changes the trajectory of lives. Sometimes it can affect the missionary as much or more than those being served. Our Sports Ministry Fund has supported more than 5,000 individuals via domestic and international missions. We exist not only to crown national champions, but to share the love of Christ wherever it is needed. The NCCAA mission states, we serve members by setting association standards, developing communications resources, providing regional and national competition, and partnering in outreach to our communities and the world. Bylaws, eligibility, statistics, and championships are all part of being an athletic association. Our services help propel intercollegiate athletics on and off campus. We intentionally place our student athletes and coaches in Christian service projects during championship events to answer the question, what would Christ do in these communities?
It's a 7-0 run by Bob Jones late in that second set. They didn't end the set with a 7-0 run, but late in that second set that allowed them to pull away and win 25-17. Neither team hitting it very well. Maranatha 12% in that second set. Bob Jones, you would think, hitting it better, but only 14%. It's a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors, not necessarily great hitting. Brody the Bruin was out in between sets trying to make sure everybody stays excited. Throwing out free t-shirts. Maybe some Chick-fil-A sandwiches would be nice too, Faith Hunter. Threw a couple of those out. I am leaving my post at that point. National championship broadcast over, and we'll dive on the floor for free nuggets. Got a nice special here. They have a Chick-fil-A on campus here. How many NCC Division II schools can say that? They got a great 2 to 4 special. They call it the 2 for $4. You go in there, you get 4 nuggets and a small fry for $2. So you go in there and you double that up. You get 8 nuggets, 2 fries for $4. It's a pretty good price, but pretty stinking cool. There's a Chick-fil-A on campus. They're all over down here, of course, headquartered in Atlanta, which is just, about an hour and a half, 2 hours from here? 90 miles, 3 hours, David Lurdy is telling us. And it's now 2-1 as we begin set number 3 here at Bob Jones University. Gabby Carpenter, middle hitter for the SaberCats with the serve, and they're going to say it was too strong. Good call by the linesman. And it's now 2-2. Maranatha, the 2 seed. The dark blue on the left side of your screen. Bob Jones, the 1 seed, leading 2-0. In the royal blue on the right side of your screen. Gaston, not much on that attack attempt. Handled by the SaberCats, and they get another one here. So Maranatha now the 3-2 advantage. Got to win 3 in a row to win 4 in a row. Trying to win their 4th straight national championship, and they have put themselves in the most precarious spot that they have been in during this national championship run. We talked about it earlier, won last year's national championship in straight sets over Kentucky Christian in their final appearance at the NCCAA 2 level. Ready is Breimer, who strikes for Maranatha. Won the 2016 national championship in straight sets over number 2 Providence. And they beat Providence, who was the 2 seed in 2015 in straight sets as well. So they are used to rolling through the national championship match. They are 3-0 in their last 3 appearances, 9-0 in sets. And it is going to be a much different experience here as the Bruins up 2-0. Vicky Denney in the hunt for her 15th national championship. First here in year 3 at Bob Jones, and an attack by Courtney Bates from that front left position. And it's now 5-4. Maranatha by 1, Muckenschnabel. Dad was in a gym class with Vicky Denney 40 years ago in Chicago. Dad is here on this trip watching Lauren try to win her first national championship. Pushed over from the middle by Breimer, and going to call a violation there on Rachel Williams. Net violation on the All-American setter. 6'4" SaberCats. Claire Hansel is ready. Young lady that will play basketball. So many of these young ladies, when we read their bios, was recruited to play basketball, used to play basketball, thought about playing basketball, but no longer is going to play basketball. Well, there's 3 of them at Maranatha that will get done with this season and go right back onto the hardwood. That's where my heart is, on the hardwood. So it's refreshing to hear. Would love to see Kelsey, Carly, and Claire do some work on the basketball court. They'll do that for Clayton Morrison, who has a couple national championships as a head coach in Watertown. Left side, it's Urecki. Blocked back onto the Maranatha side. Ring was lingering, trying to extend and pound that in, and they're going to call a 4th hit on Maranatha. SaberCats have 3 women's basketball championships, 1999, 2013, 2014. Tori Delosier, Rosine, part of some of those, made the all-tournament team. Autumn Piotr, Kristen Morrison. We touched on Lacey Peterson, who was a pretty good middle hitter for this volleyball program. She had a triple-double in one of those national championships, and the triple-double included blocks. It was a year that Clayton Morrison came to town in the fall. Clayton, if you're watching this right now, I'm going to give you the bad first and then the good. They came to Ohio Christian in October and November. Lacey Peterson was still finishing up volleyball, did not make the trip, and it was not pretty. Ohio Christian just absolutely annihilated them. And I said, boy, this is going to be a rough year for Maranatha. They are not good. They can't defend. They can't score. There's just not enough talent here to do much this season. And once Lacey Peterson got done with volleyball and joined that team, everything changed. She was a presence in the middle that nobody at our level had any answer for, and that was the year she ended up with a triple-double, and somehow, some way, Maranatha found a way to win a national championship. And it's a pretty special run for Clayton Morrison, back-to-back in 2013 and 2014. 8-7, Bob Jones here early in set number 3. And that one is too strong. Ties it at 8 apiece out of the hand of Courtney Bates. I was talking to David Lurdy, one of our on-site producers, as Mackenzie Jenke gets ready to serve here. And the tape that you see on that right hand was something that they dealt with late yesterday in that win against Emmaus. Went down with an injury, and he actually taped her up late in that second national semifinal. So we're trying to figure out when it happened, and it happened late yesterday. So you can tell it's affecting her play a little bit in that back row. Kelsey Johnson an attack up front, into the middle, Anderson who strikes again. So Bob Jones with a couple consecutive points. They lead 10-8. And Selena Walker to the service line. Walker, one of 3 juniors on this 2018 volleyball roster. Left side, Urecki. Emergency contact, Muckenschnabel. Bates got it near the Bob Jones bench and kept it alive. Right side, cut shot by Kelsey Johnson. Handled by Bates. Here's Beaver, dug up by Jenke again. Into the middle, Carpenter, and a dig by Bates. Swinging is Beaver. Touched up front, scooped up by Jenke. Left side, Urecki tested the block. And Bob Jones able to get a touch. Here's Anderson, and it's too strong. Boy, that was close. Bruin Nation didn't like the call. I couldn't tell. That was right on that back baseline. And it's a big break for Maranatha. Instead of being down 3, they're down only 1. And a chance here to tie it. Carpenter eventually capitalizes on an overpass as she drops it in. Give Gabby the kill. And we are tied at 10 apiece. And a timeout on the floor here. Was it Regina Delosier that called it? It was. So even after a little mini run, something Regina Delosier saw that merited calling a timeout. They'll talk about it. Delosier in her 12th season, 2017 National Coach of the Year, 270 wins, coached her 400th match yesterday. 270, 132, 67% winning percentage. 1982 graduate of Northeastern Oklahoma State, works in the education and science departments at Maranatha. 3 kids. We've touched on the fact that one of them is here, but oldest daughter Kendra, 31, was a former Maranatha volleyball player. One of 3 region liberos of the year for Regina Delosier. And maybe more importantly, is starting to produce grandkids for the Delosier family. 19-month-old Rory. She's an elementary teacher in Phoenix. Daughter Tori, 28, varsity assistant, as we said, for Regina Delosier. Also the head men's volleyball coach. Got a master's degree from Cedarville up in Central Ohio, where she was a graduate assistant. Married Ethan Rosine, one of the football players at Maranatha. They have a 3rd child, Drew, who was an All-American soccer player at Maranatha, was part of their 2014 national championship team. And there's one other guy in the family, our on-site statistician for the week, going to celebrate 35 years of marriage to Regina Delosier in the month of March, and that is Dr. Kent Delosier, tied at 10. See back row here, Muckenschnabel. Right side, it's Jordan Anderson, deflected up front, but out of play. 11-10 Bruins. Lauren Gaston is back in, as Muckenschnabel does her job and sits down. Urecki to Jenke. Couple feet behind that line, and it was one of the Johnson sisters, wasn't it, or was it Hansel? It's Carly Johnson, 4 feet behind that net, and still was able to attack and convert. Ties his third set at 11 apiece. Rachel Williams to Anderson, another dig for Jenke. Right side, Kelsey Johnson, who kind of had to twist her body to see the ball and still get a good swing on it, which she did both. Beaver, a touch up front. The cut shot dropped in play anyway. It's 12-11. It's her first kill in this third set. The freshman out of Kissimmee, Florida. Beaver the serve here, and it's an overpass. Bruins with a golden opportunity, and Bates tries to take advantage. Maranatha capitalizes themselves. Claire Hansel dumped it over the net, but it all started with the dig by Jenke after the overpass. They handle the attack attempt by, it was either Anderson or Gaston up front, tied at 12 apiece. Rachel Williams, back set to Anderson, punched over the net. Scooped up by Urecki. To the middle, it's Breimer. And another dig there by Rachel Williams. Bates. And a dig for Urecki. Very comfortable in that back row. Played back row last year for Gabby Peterson. Playing all the way around here in 2018. Urecki filled in a little bit last year as well for Maddie Suderman. Suderman was one of their front row players that was a nursing student, had clinicals on occasion and forced her to miss a few matches, and Urecki, a little bit of front row experience because of that. The block up front, Ring and Gaston, and it's now 14-12. Jordan Anderson, 2.3 kills per set, or 27% attack percentage, is best on the team. Flat-footed, it's Claire Hansel. Into the middle, it's Ring. Little dink attempt. Able to save it and keep it in play was Kelsey Johnson. Bates an attack. Stuffed by Breimer and Johnson. Down the line, Hansel tight to the net. Deflected back onto the Maranatha side, and they're going to call what? A double hit on Johnson. 15-12. Bruins 10 points away from a national championship. Urecki, Johnson, Breimer, an attack here. It's now 16-12. It's a 6-0 Bruins run, and it comes at a very bad time if you're watching in the state of Wisconsin. Urecki made a good last-second decision to let that one go. Clearwater Christian won 8 in a row from 2006 to 2013. It was Kentucky Christian in 2014. And Maranatha in 15, 16, and 17. Bob Jones trying to bring home their first in school history. For so many years was known just as a world-class intramural school. Would have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 students out at their soccer stadium watching some of the soccer championships out of their intramural program. Dr. Stephen Pettit sitting just a row or two in front of us. First ever president from Bob Jones that was not related to the Bob Jones family. Played soccer at the Citadel, understands the value of athletics and shaping young men and women for Jesus, and said, let's take it to the next level. Started intercollegiate athletics, and they have started very, very well. We're a D1 program with the NCCAA, but never scholarshiped. When the NCCAA several years ago said, we're not going to get into this, how many hours of Bible you've got to take. D1 is going to be scholarship, D2 is going to be non-scholarship. Bob Jones knew that that D2 level was where they needed to be, and immediately moved down along with Pensacola Christian. 17-15, and that one into the net was Kelsey Johnson, and it's now 18-15. And they have taken Division II by storm. Ready is Courtney Bates. Bates to Jenke. And an attack up front is out of bounds. Maranatha bench doesn't like the call. Regina Delosier with her hand in the air and A little bit of disbelief as well. Danger spot here, 19-15. Bates hit the tape, tight to the net. Good effort there by Breimer. It was Breimer. No, Johnson to keep it alive. Beaver with an attack, deflected up front. Beaver, an attack. And it's at a point for Maranatha, 19-16. We don't use that word lightly. That was season saving. National championship saving. You go down 20-15. In all likelihood, you are D-O-N-E done. Pushed over by Catherine Ring there. Maranatha, a chance to get a point closer here. Bob Jones in some trouble. And they get it over the net on a free ball. Into the middle, Carpenter makes it a 2-point game, 19-17. So don't engrave the trophy just yet. Janke, it's an overpass by Walker. Another opportunity for the SaberCats. That attack handled by Selena Walker. Beaver with an attack that was blocked up front but went out of bounds, and it's now 20-17.
Anderson into the Bruins, and Walker back to serve.
(20-17). 5 points away from a national championship. Down the line, some miscommunication there. Urecki at the last possible moment took it over the net. This one an overpass. Beaver with a big swing. It's an overpass again, tight to the net, and Gabby Carpenter keeps it alive. Beaver again, and it stayed in bounds. It's an assisted block. It was Carpenter and Kelsey Johnson that did it again. 20-18. One thing that one of the parents of one of these players said, that Maranatha will not get rattled. This is a program that has been here and done it. And they continue to claw here in this third set. Janke with a dig. Kelsey Johnson, right side, sister Carly, and she strikes again. 20-19.
Johnson continues to serve.
They will fight to the finish. Bruin Nation beginning to make some noise, trying to will their team to this win, and it's a point for Bob Jones. This time Beaver able to take it through Carpenter and Carly Johnson, and Regina Delosier going to check on Gabby Carpenter right now, who is in a little bit of pain. It's like a right knee in the R2 out there. Giving them a little bit of time. David Morton, 25 years as an official, but also looking at his watch. I think there's a certain amount of time. Vicky Denney out there saying, okay, you've either got to sub somebody here, maybe call a timeout, or it may just be somebody in the building that wants to get to that Chick-fil-A 2-for-4 special. So they give her a minute to check on Carpenter, and she's going to stay in the match. And I think Vicky Denney asking for some clarification right now. You know, there's a lot of sports that when you check on them, you've got to come out, but they allow Carpenter to stay here. 21-19. Going to go left side and try to feed Carly Johnson, but they're going to get a double hit on Kelsey Johnson. So now 22-19. And now Regina Delosier going to use a timeout to talk about it. Again, I want to say thanks to our title sponsor of our volleyball championship coverage. That's Aramark. They have expertise in food, uniforms, and facilities. Aramark lets you focus on what you do best. Aramark, we dream, and we do. Coming up after this match is over, we will turn things over to Lloyd Henderson, the public address announcer. He will announce the all-tournament team, the national tournament MVP. They will give out some of the hardware, on the hardwood. Each of these teams will receive some awards. Won't take long, but it's an important point, especially for Bob Jones here. They were so close in men's basketball last year in the month of March. Nate Ellenwood in that group, led by Burton Uwaru, does a great job with that program. Took over for Neil Ring in 2018. Nate Ellenwood had a triple-double in the national semis against Grace Christian. He threw some passes in that championship that I have never seen anybody throw in 27 years of covering this level of athletics. 22-19. Pushed over by Carpenter, scooped up by Beaver. To the middle and Anderson, a touch up front. Urecki, Johnson, Urecki, handled by Williams. And Beaver gonna get a big swing here. Jenke with a dig. Kelsey Johnson now to right side, Carly Johnson, and it never got there. Hit it in the center of the net, it's now 23-19. Williams, the only senior on either of these rosters. Kelsey Johnson, and what? They're going to call a net violation here, and it's now 24-19. And if the challenge wasn't difficult enough, everybody in this gymnasium to their feet. This is for the national championship. Kelsey into the middle, Gabby Carpenter. Brook Beaver to win the national championship, and they did it!
25-19,
Bruin Nation celebration. Vicky Denney, number 15. Bob Jones, their first. The Bruins are your national champs in 2018. Listen to this crowd. National champs in 2018, the team from Bob Jones University. Bruins go to 36-5 on the year. Vicky Denney, number 15, the six-time National Coach of the Year, and did it in straight sets here on a matinee on a Saturday in November. Bruins hosting this national championship, and they will keep the banner right here in Greenville, South Carolina. 29-27. 25-17 and 25-19. Just a few moments, they'll have the award ceremony. They're tabulating some of the voting right now. Again, I'm going to keep quiet and just listen to this crowd. As they make their way around this gymnasium and celebrate with Bruin Nation. Tied for third a season ago. Went 0-3 in pool play just 2 years ago. You knew it wasn't going to take long with Vicky Denney, but nobody knew it was going to be this quick. We talked to her in our coach's interview about 2 weeks ago, and she said, Rick, we got to remind people we're in our third year of intercollegiate volleyball. That's it. She has wasted no time. She will host this championship one more time in 2019. Obviously, the setter, a key piece. So they will lose Rachel Tubbs-Williams, but everybody else is coming back in 2019. Maranatha hit at only an 8% clip in that third set. Bob Jones not a whole lot better at 12%. Kent Delozier, our on-site statistician, was kind of profound. I mean, it's a lot of mistakes, a lot of missed opportunities, but it was not necessarily good hitting by either side. Lloyd Henderson, our public address announcer, doing some of the tabulating. Ben Bellman, the director of member relations down there. Selena Slate, the vice chair, who will become the national volleyball chair next season from Toccoa Falls down there to do some of the presenting. Lauren Sanders, the head coach from Manhattan Christian College, the acting national chair. Talking to Vicky Denney right now. They will eventually bring both teams out and they will eventually present the national championship banner to the team from Bob Jones University. They have won one already. Well, I've won a couple in cross country. There's banners all over this gymnasium. Women's soccer 2016, women's soccer 2015, women's soccer 2013, and women's soccer just a year ago. 4 of them in women's soccer. Men's soccer team won 2 years ago in 2016, and a couple cross-country national championships in 16 and 17 as well. So they have won 7 of them in just a very short time. This is a big one to knock off a program with 9 national titles in their rich history. They had won 3 in a row, and we'll turn it over now to public address announcer Lloyd Henderson.
Awards program. We wish to thank the following people for all they've done to help make this a great tournament. Dr. Neil Green, Johnny Gamble, Wyatt Parker, the national tournament directors from Bob Jones University and their staff and volunteers. We want to thank our presenting sponsor from Aramark. Thank you to Lauren Sanders of Manhattan Christian College, the NCCAA National Sports Chair for D2 Volleyball, for all of her hard work this week and all season. We'd also like to thank Judy Fox, who served as tournament chaplain from Ignite International. We'd like to thank Fine Designs, the official t-shirt vendor. We'd also like to thank finally all of our participants for the 2018 NCCAA Division II National Volleyball Championship. What great seasons they have all had, and they are each to be congratulated. Let's give all of them a round of applause. First portion of the program will be the presentation of the all-tournament team, which was selected by the coaches. First up, representing Arlington Baptist University, Jacqueline Wells. Next, representing Maranatha Baptist University, Kelsey Johnson. Next member of the all-tourney team from Maranatha Baptist University, Claire Ansel. Representing Bob Jones University, Selena Walker. Member of the all-tourney team from Geneva College, Sydney McNulty. Also representing Geneva College, Daphne Hunsinger. And finally, the outstanding player of the tournament as selected by the coaches from Bob Jones University, Brook Beaver. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 all-tournament team. We would like to recognize the other teams who participated in this year's tournament. If the team or a team representative is still here, please have a team captain come for a game ball. From Knoxville, Tennessee, Johnson University. From Arlington, Texas, Arlington Baptist University. From Moore, Oklahoma, Randall University. From Toccoa, Georgia, Toccoa Falls College. We would now like to recognize our two finalist teams. First, from Geneva, Pennsylvania, coached by Whitney Smith, Geneva College. Second, from Dubuque, Iowa, coached by Neil Pittman, Emmaus Bible College. Now would like to present the second place plaque to the Sabercats from Maranatha Baptist University, coached by Regina DeLozier. Now for the presentation of the first place banner and plaque to the Bruins from Bob Jones University, coached by Dr. Vicky Denney. Now for the presentation of the Championship Team Awards. Wearing number 2 for the Bruins, Rachel Williams. Number 4, Brittany Annan. Wearing number 5, Brook Beaver. Number 7, Abby Blue. Number 8, Number 8, Selena Walker. Number 9, Catherine Ring. Wearing number 10, Lauren Muckenschnabel. Number 11, Jamie Grimes. Number 13, Jordan Anderson. Number 14, Aaron Jarvis. Nora Gaston. Number 18, Courtney Bates. Once again, we'd like to thank all of them for a wonderful tournament. We'd like to circle up in the NCCAA tradition. All teams and any special groups or individuals or parents, please circle up on the floor for the closing prayer. This will be led by Rob Thompson. We would ask that any seniors from any of the teams step into the middle, allow us to pray over them as they end their careers and move into service. If you could please participate in this prayer. Give the Bruins a moment for a picture or two, maybe three. Go ahead and come down to the floor. Those of you that would like to participate in this, this is an NCCAA tradition for all teams. Anybody here representing a team, parents, individuals that are supporting that would like to participate, we could circle up on the floor. It's not just for the Bruins, anybody else. This is for everybody. Go ahead and make your way down to the floor, circle up. We are going to ask all seniors from all teams to please be in the center of the circle so that we can pray over you. Ask for the Lord's blessing. Thank you for a good career. And as you move into continued service for His glory, any other seniors before we begin? Parents of the seniors, please come in and join them as well. Give you a moment to do that. All right, at this point I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Rob Thompson.
All right, let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, first and foremost, we're thankful for your sending your Son, Jesus Christ, to die for our sins. We thank you for the unity that we have in the body of Christ. We thank you for each of these young ladies, for their hard work and dedication to the sport of volleyball. Thank you for the coaches and all the hours that they put into this season. We thank you for the parents who have sacrificed to have their daughters in Christian education. We thank you for the fans and the sportsmanship that was demonstrated throughout this week. We pray now for your blessing upon the close of this tournament, for travel safety as we make our ways back home. We thank you for Bob Jones University and the hosting of this tournament, our staff and faculty and student workers. We thank you so much for all you've done for each one of us. Lord, may you have your special hand upon these seniors as they embark upon their careers. Father, may you just bless them, help them, teach them, and grow them. Lord, may you have your hand of blessing upon these individuals who have participated this weekend. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Let's give a hand for all of the team.
Post-game facilities or festivities finishing up here at Bob Jones University. As a tradition, they close with prayer and bring the seniors into the middle, and there are not very many seniors. Maranatha with none, Bob Jones with only one, and a very young tournament field from number 1 seed down to number 8, and means we should have plenty of excitement as we head into 2019. Couple cool stories I don't want you to miss in that. Aaron Jarvis comes out young lady who tore 2 ACLs and is still hoping to fight her way back and be a part of this Bob Jones program. She was the first ever recruit for Vicky Denney here at Bob Jones, somebody that originally signed to play at Clearwater Christian for Coach Denney. They announced in June of 2015 they were closing their doors, and a lot like Vicky Denney, she was like, where am I going to coach? Maybe my coaching career is done. Aaron Jarvis didn't know what was next for her and decided to follow Vicky Denney here to Bob Jones University, was one of their leading attackers a year ago, and again, a resilient young lady that is going to fight her way through a second ACL tear, and pretty emotional moment when she stepped out there with the rest of her teammates to receive her medal and her recognition as a national champion in 2018. Some final numbers that may interest you really quick. Neither team hit it real well. Maranatha 12% as a team. Bob Jones just a little bit better, 13%. Brook Beaver, as you heard from our public address announcer, named the national tournament MVP. Beaver with 14 kills in this championship. She hit at a clip of 16%. Beaver had 2 aces and 9 digs this afternoon as well. In a losing effort for Maranatha, Kelsey Johnson had 11 kills. Kelsey Johnson had 7. Big storyline, though. Kelsey Johnson only 7% hitting this afternoon. Gabby Carpenter, who had been so effective yesterday in the Final Four match, struggling today, only 4 kills on 11% hitting. Another stat that jumps off the screen at you, Bob Jones with 10 aces in this national championship, and Maranatha with none. In terms of digs, the SaberCats with a 79-68 advantage. In the battle of the blocks, Maranatha lost that statistical category 11-5. Again, Bob Jones, your national champs in 2018. It's their 8th national championship in school history, their first in Division II women's volleyball in this, their 3rd season of volleyball. 29-27 in the first. They use a 7-0 run late in that second set to win 25-17, and they hang on to win in the 3rd set by the final of 25-19. Your all-tournament team, Jacqueline Wells from Arlington, Kelsey Johnson from Maranatha, Claire Hansel from Maranatha, Selena Walker, the Bob Jones libero, Geneva Sydney McNulty, the senior outside hitter, Daphne Hunsinger, their all-everything setter, and the MVP of the 2018 national tournament is freshman Brook Beaver from Bob Jones University. What a run for the Bruins, just 3 years into volleyball. They came to this national tournament 2 years ago, did not win a match. They went 0-3 and did not advance out of pool play. Last year they get to the national semifinals where they're swept and finished in a tie for 3rd, and they come back in year number 3 and they go perfect through this national championship, 3-0 in pool play. They hang on last night for a thrilling win in the national semifinals against Geneva, 3-2. They won that 5th and deciding set, 15-13, and they win the national championship in straight sets this afternoon. Again, the final scores, 29-27, 25-17, and 25-19. The Bruins will finish up 2018 at 36-5. Maranatha will finish up at 24-13. Want to say thanks to both of these head coaches. Dr. Vicky Denney, we congratulate her on national championship number 15. And again, don't lose sight of her story. Finds out in June of 2015 that the school that she has won 13 national championships at is going to be closing in about 3 weeks, and you've got to find a job. Wondering where she would ever coach again at 59 years old. Bob Jones decides to make this move and start intercollegiate athletics behind President Dr. Stephen Pettit. And she gets a call from her alma mater, and 3 years later, she's bringing home another national championship at 62 years old. We say congratulations to her. Congratulations to husband Lou Denney. Also congratulations to Mark Corbin and Krista Schlichting, who were on her staff as well. Dr. Neil Ring, the Director of Athletics. Johnny Gammett, the SID here. And again, Dr. Stephen Pettit. And a lot of times it starts at the top with a president that understands the value of athletics. Dr. Stephen Pettit gets it, and that's why this Bruins athletic department has won 8 national championships now at the NCCAA Division II level. I want to say thanks again to our title sponsor, Aramark, that brought you all of this national championship coverage. 15 matches over the last 48 hours. We say thanks to all of our tournament sponsors, Servant HR, Spinks, Aramark, Bon Secours, Integra Bank, and Pepsi. We also say thanks to Fine Designs, the official t-shirt company of the NCCAA. You can get championship apparel at finedesigns.com. I want to say thanks to the guys that made us look good, sound good. Talking about David Lurdy, our on-site producer, Jeff Carr, one of the on-site producers, Dan Boone, our executive producer, Faith Hunter, has brought a sleeping bag. She's lived in this gymnasium the last 2 days, running a camera for us. Kent DeLozier didn't get paid a dime, got paid in Pepsis, and did stats for us all weekend. We sure appreciate the efforts of Kent DeLozier as well. We say thanks most of all to you for watching. It's been fun. If you've enjoyed it half as much as we did bringing it to you, then it's been a success. And we'll talk to you again in the month of March when Division II men's and women's basketball invade this gymnasium, as Arlington Baptist on the women's side and Randall University on the men's side will try to repeat as national champs. Again, for David Lurdy, Jeff Carr, Faith Hunter, Kent DeLozier, and our entire NCCAA Sports Network broadcast team, my name is Rick Cooper, one of the voices of the NCCAA, but we love it, enjoyed it, thrilled that you decided to be a part of it. Bob Jones University, your national champs in 2018. Have a good night, everybody.